Hello, dear friends. My name is Meena Chopra. I am a poet and an artist. It is nice to be with you all once again. I thank Margaret, Rosa, and everybody at Poetry Art Bar for inviting me and giving me this wonderful opportunity to read some poems to you all. I adore and love Art Bar. It exudes tremendous warmth and inspires me always. So let us get down to poetry. I want to tell you the kind of poems I write. My poems actually they search for the universal duality, a relationship between the subject and the object, spirit and matter, trying to find the totality in this influx of paradoxes. And this is an effort to unlock the mysteries of life. I search for the elusive reality of human consciousness through lines, splashes of colors, and impressions of brush strokes on my canvases. You all know, I am an artist as well, and at times through my pen and paper in the form of verses. I will be reading about 10 to 12 poems to you all today. Some of them are new. Some are from my last collection, poetry and art collection, She the Restless Streak. Some of you must have seen that. And some I would be reading from my older collection, which is called Ignited Lines. So the first one that I am going to read is titled A Dream Sequence. It's an imagination. It's a lot of imagery of some unknown world. So it is called a dream sequence. I run through a long, narrow corridor endlessly, flanked by multitude of old termite-ridden fragile wooden doors. I frequently knock on them. They do not open. I hit hard, relentlessly turning the knobs, inserting the key from a huge bunch, all mixed up. Cold fatigue overtakes me. Behind each of these doors there is a desire that may warm my icy, withering self. At least, I believe so. Suddenly, there appears to be a large door. A diamond-studded golden gate opens up in front of me. I step out into a vista of luminosity, covered in shining white mist. Overwhelmed, I fade away in nihility of a dream sequence. Thank you. The next one is The Deep Dark Woods. It's her story, it's her journey, or it's my journey, anybody's journey. It goes like this. She strolls on the blue moons, dead stars, aging regions, glaciers and valleys, sauntering on curvatures in a distant, strange land, meandering a digressed wilderness. The deep, dark woods deluged her eyes. Subdivided, she turns around, walks back towards her homeland, stepping into a courtyard, feeling safe and sheltered, sitting on the doorsteps, eyes half shut, squeezing the setting sun. The dusk, silent, intuned, silhouettes stretched, sprawling on the barren, dark walls. And then a ray from the far-off sky stumbles down, softly thresholding her anatomy, charged and refreshed, her stark naked soul front lines and moves ahead once again, rejoicing, dancing. As she dawns in a new day, thousands of days break in her eyes. An eternal traveler, she turns around to catch up with an untrodden trail, ready to walk miles again to an unknown forest. She reaches her roots once again to rise again. The deep, dark woods fire her eyes. Days, years, and eons pass by. The deep, dark woods were lost in her eyes. Now, the next one is called The Year Passes Away, and it is dedicated to Corona year. Wintry soil in my palm, wet and cold, mixed with salt and snow. I freeze in the soaked lines of my hands, iced and wet. I see the setting sun, dark and frozen on my windowsill, holding me in its warmth. I look above. The sky is grey and blue, peeping from the skylight of my solarium. Time passes away in a blink. This was a year of halting and reflecting. I have loved self-absorption for a change, a necessary part of my living years. Thank you. The next one is Streetscape, and it is inspired, tells a story of Toronto today, as crowded it is and busy it is. It goes like this. Walking on the streets in Toronto, constantly inhaling cigarette smoke, acrid fumes trespass my nostrils and lungs, encroached breath trapped under the alleys of giant skyscrapers. My throat is parched, caught up in a frequent sip of a diet Pepsi, eyes socializing on the cell phone, screen occasionally look up, groping the traces of untouched rare bits of fresh air, craving for distant clean sky, ready to clench evasive breeze, caught up in the tech taste, trapping a new race, adjusting my squinted eyeballs. Cornea melts and flows down, screening the clarity of my vision. And then I see a woman, pregnant and homeless, begging on the corner of Union Station. And they say, "We are progressing." I am supposed to be inspired by my surroundings, to write poetry with a smoky paintbrush of my musing mind. Thank you very much. And the next poem that I am going to read is called The Catchphrase of Perpetuity. It is about celebrating historic places. It was awarded from Ontario Museums along with Best Selfie Picture last year. It is dedicated to the Grange, Mississauga, and the gnomes that they have in Grange, Heritage Mississauga as the storytellers. Tellers. The Grange is one of my favorite historic places, and I'm often there. So it goes like this. I stood between the fragrance of earth in the shades of the cozy dwelling of the ancient, the Grange in Mississauga, with the shriveled timeless time in my hand, the guard of the life's treasure, our heritage, looking at the sun, the life giver. Sunlight shining on my face and on the sunflowers. The norm resides in my squinted eyes. I sheltered myself in its warmth. He breathes constantly, moves incessantly within me and all, constantly reminding us as to who we are, and I self-it myself into the priceless truth of life. Thank you. So, dear friends, we come down to the second part of my poetry reading, which is from my book, She, the Restless Streak, and it's the abstract female principle. The first one that I am going to read to you is called Damp Earth. It's her story, She, the Restless Streak. She sticks to the tacky damp earth, dreading devastation. Her mouth is full of clay. Is it the smell of the earth that she eats? The dry, coarse earth, is that she? The streams swim in her eyes. Visions divide. The sight freezes in the white snow. Cold winter hovers, ticking in time. The second one is called Mystery Book. It's very contemporary. It goes like this. A faceless face, she is a myth in a real-time display, structured, showcased in a trendy way, masquerading behind the cleverly constructed images. Shadows persistently knock on her doors and windows. They remain sealed and shut, crashing, till they fall, fractured, ruptured in sharp splinters, multitude glassy pictures, shattering into shards, piercing visions. She bleeds, obdurate and unyielding. She tweets the reality day in and day out, visionless to the silent charismatic obscurities surrounding her hidden mystery book. She is a cybernetic socialite, standing on a virtual plane, grounding, disseminating, humanizing a faceless face on her Facebook page every day. Thank you. And the next one is again from She, the Restless Streak, and it is called Kaleidoscopic. Dodging the entire cosmos in her fabled self, she quests for the changing spectacles, shifting patterns, fleeing skies, spectrumed, panoramic terrains, fictitious settings. Limits have scraped her soul, within and without. The earth is still warm, burnt, crusty, and thin. quivering, drifting, transpiring, a daylight. Thank you. So, the next poem that I am going to read is again from She the Restless Streak, and it is called Unsaved. And it goes like this. She moves from dissonance to consonance, a final note of harmonic progressions, a lyrical syllable substituted, a rhythm of an unknown melody, all erased with one harsh note, an invisible stroke, effacing the memory stick. Was that the brush of a tainted time? A wash technique consumed in a soft data of timeless zone? Was she redefined, saved and returned? Thank you. Friends, the next one is a stilled sonata. And this is again from my book, She the Restless Streak. She sails on the Milky Way, oceans, foaming, reaching the far land. Cyprus, the infinite dispensed, the finite dispensed in the infinite. Time ticked, shelled, the circled core, a schismatic, dry and dark bottomless pit. Listen to the echoes, the coiled moments, a stilled sonata. The unrestricted sensibilities, the chasm, the cycle, the life, eternally at run. Dying reminiscences reflect, symphonizing, aspiring, a final composition, tuning a stilled sonata, her sonata. Thank you. So friends, I will be reading some of my poems from my older collection, which is called Ignited Lines. This is my collection. It was first published in 1996, and again a second edition got published in 2010. So this was my first collection of poems. So I'll be reading some poems from this. So let's get on to this. The first one that I'm going to read to you is titled, What Was It? It goes like this. Graying evening, shades of black fading, starkness of night, neutrality spread all over our faces, unrecognizable. What was it that you recognized and I did not? Was my vision hazy? Or I looked at the haze? Perhaps we are beginning a new end. Next one is goes like this. It goes like this. Shadows from the past spill into the future, the present, a maze. Unawareness sprawls, tired hands grope for rudiments, fragmented, flamed desires, breaking the barriers, the power, binding our separateness, seeking totality within a paradox. These were small poems generally. So again, the next one is called Fire. Dreams tumble from unknown heights into a dark pit, devoured by the hunger of light. A vast, ultimate flux of shadows, adrift. A sea of hidden fire rises with a smoky thread to reach the hearts of early desires. Next one is called Ruins, and this is again from my collection Ignited Lines. I walk bare feet on the ruins of time. Past crumbles underneath. Images emerge from the rigid stone walls. Cracking in front of me, I see shadows in the debris of empty spaces. Thank you. So maybe I'll read another one to you. And this is called Ingle. A point of climax, clamorous roads, divided passions, sliding down a roaring sea. Drenched perspirations, wavy impressions, the calmness of mood subdued. Where is the ingle that kindled in a corner long ago? So I want to read another one. This is called A Stillness Moves. And this got a prize. This was awarded by Mississauga Library Systems. A stillness moves. Distances fade, a feeling as if I touch the limitless remains. Quivering fingers grasp the floating clouds. They merge in me as I in you. The hues of blue disappear in each other when the sky re-emerges beneath to above, getting wet by the fresh rain. My feet soaked, embedded in sand, leave impressions strong enough, wiping off the tidal waves that strike a climax within. Sand slips away under my feet, a stillness moves inside me. Duality will remain, I know, separating me from you. Yet, a dream is instilled. I pulsate, yearn to be fecundated by the distant you. I want to read another one, and it is called A Glimmer It Was. A glimmer it was it you or the sun? A chilly winter blossomed in spring. Whiffs of the flowers fled, diffused in the sky. The rainbow emerged, half born, half engulfed. Wonder-struck vision stopped at the semicircle. Near was the horizon. Distant was I, closed eyes, captured, unfolding emotions, but the feelings flowing and flying, endeavoring to touch the rainbow, plunging in space, searching the elusive pot. Is it the treasure? Will I find my lost destiny with you beside me? A destiny lost in our hearts at a time when the time was still born. Adrift. A bright sunshine smile serves the sheer shores of horizon. A sparkled vacuum glimmers, floats in the morning breeze, trickles down in the thin lines of my palm. Trembling fingers reach out, seeking a fragrant dawn, concealing a universe, stroking the innermost, mingling with the bloodstream, savoring fullness from my lips. A twinkling moment adrift on your body, a spotless, undiluted soul, surfaced, ceased to be my being forever. Strangers. In the day's heat, I sought myself in you. Strangers we were, still are. Silhouettes in each other's eyes, remnants of a deflected time. Monotony, non-existence is claustrophobic. I fear remaining an outline. Your warmth lingers, uncaptured, fading into opacity. I know I will burn till the fire burns in me. Metaphorical. Separated from the start, I long to be with you. Submerged in a silent moment, but it was the void that greeted me, not you. Emptiness all over. Nothing satiated, nothing fulfilled. Naked sensibilities cried out, unheard, torn apart, seeking a touch, your warmth. Estranged, slept a restless slumber, failed to enter my arid, blank body. Alone, distanced, unfamiliar shadows lingered between us. The want in me to see the stark reality. My untouched, clear reflection in your searching eyes met despair. Unrecognized, helpless, and dirty, I hid myself from me. Strange it is, desire that breathes life disappears, afraid of being alive. I did not look for a metaphorical love. Not anymore. Never. So I'll read another one, and this is called White Canvas. And with this poem, I'll close the session. White Canvas because I paint as well. Your vivid stroke etched in my memory, be stirred my stark white canvas. A passing night clasped me, replete with colors, raw impulses, wide awake, splashed shades tinting the sheet, toning the moods. A splendor bedded with me all night. A river oozed out in heat. My opaque vision grasped the forthcoming dawn. A fatigue tarried within me throughout the day. Thank you very much, and thank you, Margaret, Rosa, and Poetry Art Bar once again. It was wonderful to be with you all. Thank you.